Back to something that has to do with the AC, of course, is payment reform and innovative delivery models. And like I said, leading into the session, we've seen a lot of great discussion on innovative delivery models. And to me, that's very, very encouraging. We know that CMS and CMMI, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Innovation, CMMI, have been pushing alternative payment models, demonstrations, pilots, and so forth for a variety of ways to do this. What do we see between now and 2020? Assuming the political firmament doesn't alter drastically about the evolution of payment reform and delivery models. Mike, views on that? Where are we kind of headed on this?
I think we, relative to the panel yesterday, I think we potentially can move much quicker for a variety of reasons.
Much quicker?
Much quicker. I think, let me try and give a quick reason why I believe that. Medicare is moving very aggressively. Some of the things they're doing are mandated, so I think it's certain bundles, the joints, cancer, and a bunch of things that could push that way.
Hold on, wait, you talk the bundles?
The bundles they're pushing, and they're pushing them hard.
Right.
The new laws they have put in place for, as part of macro, which was they just announced the rules yesterday, the day before maybe.
Yeah, yes.
The macro rules really push people towards alternative payment models, I believe, in a whole variety of ways. I think you're going to find if Medicare moves strongly in this direction, and I think if there's not a big change in the political firmament, they will, you will find providers, I again would love to hear from folks in the room, who find it very hard to be half in fee-for-service and half otherwise. I think you will find a growing number of private insurers. Every private insurer I work with or know of have, which is, well, there aren't many, but anyway, there are a lot that I know, have the biggies and local ones, the blues, for example. You can debate whether it's just the blues or just individual plans, but all of them have some version of this, and I think providers, I think you'll continue to see consolidation, so it's hard. The underlying delivery system is admittedly not structured well to accept all of this, but I think the delivery system realizes that they're going to have to move in this direction, so you'll see more consolidation, more people moving in this direction. Not because it's great, I think there's a whole bunch of problems with it, but the alternative has been structured to be so much worse. Physician fees are on a low trajectory, hospital and facility fees are on a low trajectory, the requirements for ITs, even with the new rules or such quality measurement stuff, it's really hard to stay in a fee-for-service system sort of on your own, really, really hard. And I think you will see a desire from providers to get into these new types of models. If they're more lucrative, you get to keep some of the savings. My line has been, when money gets tight, and money will be tight, you want to control the money. And these new payment models allow you to control the money. In Massachusetts, we went from very little alternative payment models to basically everybody in to some extent in like 3 years.
So the providers are now leaning heavily in that direction.
Well, there's providers here. I'd love to hear what people think. I believe...
We're going to, by the way, at about 10:55.
Yeah, right. So I would love to hear. I believe that not because they want to go in this direction, that when you sit down as a provider and do the calculus, you're going to have to figure out how to do all the things that we've discussed to make it work. But in the end of the day, you want to make it work as opposed to just get out and back to fee-for-service. Because the fee-for-service that they're offering you behind door number 2 is crappy.
That would be the technical term.
Yes. No, that.
So, Bruce, where are we with that? You were nodding your head.
Well, certainly from the employer standpoint, there is absolutely an interest in engaging in contracting, whether it's through their health plans or whether it's through direct contracting with ACOs or centers of excellence to purchase care using more innovative payment models other than fee-for-service. I actually brought some fairly recent survey data with me just to highlight the ACO issue. Probably the two most germane surveys, one of about 500 employers, most with more than 5,000 employees, saying that for 2016, about 9% were planning on a direct contract with the ACO, with another 13% coming on board in the next 2 years. I think we've got an interesting dynamic among employers. Some are falling into the ACO camp, others are saying, well, I'll use my health plan and we'll figure out what those high-performance networks look like. recognizing that maybe an ACO can't provide everything that I need, so maybe I'll move in that direction. Certainly from a benefit design standpoint, there are ways, irrespective of the option, to create more favorable premium structure for employees to steer them to one or the other. But certainly that is coming. We've seen a lot of focus on employers and centers of excellence for various offerings, whether it's spine, joints, heart
So those are
surgery.
strong indicators, by the way. And Mike did say joints, you talk about spine. There are these highly prevalent procedures, especially among the elderly population, where we've reached the point where we know how to do them, they're best practices, we've got very efficient ways of providing those services, and now it's all about payment amounts, getting the best deal. A lot of the healthcare system is moving that way. Patricia, is the move from fee-for-service or volume to value, is that inexorable? Have we kind of gone past that to point?
Well, it's an interesting question, because now more than ever before, you're hearing people say fee-for-service is forward, it has to go. That's fairly recent
Or number
phenomenon.
two, yes.
But I actually think it's going to be slower than like you're voting for 4 years.
First of all, there's, all these things are built off of a fee-for-service chassis. So you're not going to sort of some strict, here's $20, care for the person model. The question is whether or not in these models, be it an ACO or a managed care plan or some other organization that is trying to manage cost and quality at a population level. There's going to be fee-for-service under this for, well into the future.
How far under though? 5% of the market, 10% of the market?
No, even in the ACOs, there's fee-for-service under it, right? So there's just a double counting about how you, we're just having a little semantic thing. So the ACO program, for example, is situated in the Medicare fee-for-service model. It's built on a fee-for-service chassis with a budget target, right? So we could debate, is fee-for-service gone or not if everything's in an ACO? In my parlance, just so people can understand me, I believe that's not fee-for-service because there's this residual budget target and risk that's been pushed down at the population level. But you could totally legitimately say, no, that's still fee-for-service because you're still running the RVUs and the
It's
DRG system.
constrained fee-for-service.
Yeah, okay, so that's fine.
You have to operate inside the
Yeah,
fence,
with-
right?
Yeah, so and that's where I think you're kind of.
Go ahead, Patricia. You have a slightly different view. You think it may not ramp up quite as quickly? What do you say?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to take a lot longer. And if I use Mike's definition of that's actually not fee-for-service, with this fee-for-service chassis, that maybe we can go quicker. But I think if you want to get really to something that's truly just paying, a global cap and payment under that, I think it will take a lot longer. I think the ACO movement has gone a little bit slower than I thought it was going to go at the very beginning. The very first ACO meetings we went to, and we were all excited.
Pioneer ACOs?
Yeah, we thought it was going to be really fast. And I think the ACOs are still trying to figure out how to actually be successful and make money. I know we have some ACO leaders in this room who've actually been able to make money, but that's not the case for a lot of the ACOs. And until we get there, you're still going to see groups come in and go out and not be totally committed to the model. And one of the things we haven't talked about, and maybe we'll get to it later, is at the same time that we're trying to do all this payment reform, there's a huge reform that's going on in pharmacy, where we're having the development of truly life-saving, life-altering, very, very expensive targeted therapies that are coming with a huge price tag. And we haven't really talked about how you're going to manage that. That's different from how I'm going to get a network where I pay the doctors less, or how I'm going to get the hospitals to pay them smaller rates. How are we really going to deal with what's going on there in terms of these very expensive drugs?
And I do want to save a few minutes for that, indeed. So thanks for kind of setting that up. Let me just toss something out there that I think may be going on here. And again, it's reflected in the great discussion we've had through this point, and that is, at the time of 2012, when we had another election and the administration was kind of walking on eggshells, they didn't want to push things too hard. They had tried to implement the ACA, doing pretty well. There was a kind of a slowdown and a pullback a little bit on what to do next. After the election, we saw CMS and CMMI get really active with alternative payment models, value-based purchasing. Mike, I know you know a lot about this. You folks may know that Pat Conway at CMS and He's been really pushing the CMMI stuff and all these models. As you know, there are a lot of contracts out there now and other arrangements from CMS that are multi-year things. So I think what the administration did from their standpoint wisely is they've now put into place or are putting into place a lot of experimentation, innovative models and so forth, and organizations delivering financing. They will keep going, largely no matter who the next president is. So they kind of put down their stake there. And I think that if you care about valuable innovation in the healthcare system, you're seeing even a lot more experimentation and innovation going on right now. And that's going to provide, we hope, a basis for smarter decisions about moving from volume to value. Maybe I sound a little bit too optimistic, maybe more optimistic than you are, Patricia, but I think that we're trying so much interesting stuff now. There will be some fast failures, but we will get to a place where we have a better toolkit for implementing value-based healthcare organizations or financing. Just
I
one
think we'll get
guess.
there too, but I think the time frame is
You're-
more like 20 years.
You're stretching it out.
Yeah.
Cool, all right, well, we'll find out. You and I can both discuss that
We'll have dinner 20
in
years from now.
2036, all right, on me.